Okay, I want to show you how to use a ring sling. First thing you want to do is have your unthreaded sling. Now here are some of the parts of the sling. 2 rings, preferably metal rings that were made specifically for baby wearing, not craft rings. And as you can see, these have a nice solid weld. There's no gap. This is a IowaCityBabywearers brand sling. It's unpadded, and I prefer an unpadded ring sling because you can tighten it as tight as you want it. You can make the pouch as shallow as you need. What you're going to do is take your sling with the tag portion and put it over your shoulder at corsage height. And then behind you, you're going to want to spread it apart. I tend to find the edges, the hems, with my fingertips. You don't want it to be twisted across your back. Now pulling this top one, which comes from here, goes around your back, comes out here, pull all the way in front of you until you find the corner right here. So here's the very end. There's typically a pocket. On mine there's a pocket. Now keep those corner pieces in the crook of your thumb. It's very important later so you can control the depth and the tightness of your pouch. And I'm just kind of crinkling up accordion style, still keeping those ends separate. Now take those directly toward your body, through the center of both rings, lift up, fold over, lift one ring. Do you see how I'm doing this? Make sure I don't go too fast. And just start pulling the fabric through, making sure to keep the ends separate and untangled. I tend to grab each side and pull straight out. Now this has formed a pocket. Let's pull this up a little higher. You want to keep the rings up here. So I'm going to be wearing 1-year-old Andrea in this ring sling. So she's going to be sitting up on my hip. For that hold, you're going to want to have this bottom rail, which will go behind her knees and under her bottom. I want it to be about where I want her to be sitting at, or a little higher. Now to control the pouch, I'm going to use this, the tail. The inner rail is controlled by this one, and if you don't know, just check, pull, and see which side goes up. I know this is controlling the inner rail, this is controlling this top rail, which go behind her head, and the middle of the tail will make the pouch shallower, which is very important if you're wearing a young baby. Alright, so I have it about as loose as I want it to put Andrea in the pouch. So I'm going to go get her. Hi, Andrea. Hey. Here's Andrea. Now to get her in the pouch, I'm going to lift her high up, hanging onto both legs, and reach my arm underneath the pouch so I can guide her legs into it. See, both legs are under. Then, while still holding her with this arm, I'm going to find the back of one knee, the back of the other knee, and then bend her knees as I lower her down into the pouch. Pulling this up. Some babies will hate this around their back. Andrea tends to like to cuddle, so I can hold her in. Otherwise, if you have a nice sturdy baby who's not going to do a back bend on you, their arms can be out, like this. Either way, you're going to need to tighten it a little bit more once you get your baby in. Notice my rings kind of slid down, so I'm just going to put them back. Now this top rail is a little too loose. She'll be hanging away from me too far. So I'm just going to take this, pull it down. It's going to make her snugger. Now this section is a little too baggy. So estimate that's about this far in. pulling. That's getting a little snugger. Now this is a shoulder flap, which is really nice for spreading the weight of a bigger baby. Now, I'm wearing her and she's a little bit lower than my belly button right now, which is uncomfortable. So I'm going to lift her up, grab her all this extra slack, and then pull on this lower rail. So I want her to be higher up. And now I'm going to make the pouch a little bit shallower so she's up higher. And once I feel she's secure and steady, notice she's not falling away from my body when I move. She's touching my body even if I lean away. There's no big gap here. Now she's very secure. This isn't twisted across my back, which means all the weight is spread evenly across my back. She's very comfy. Since Andrea is a nice sitter, she's not going to do a back bend. She likes to cuddle. I'm going to show you how to get a baby onto your back. What I do is grab the rings, grab the baby's bottom, bounce, bounce, bounce. She's on my hip, almost to my back. Hand to the front, grab her bottom, bounce, bounce. Pull the rings down a little bit more. Checking Andrea. There we go. And as long as that one cover stays over her shoulders, she'll be secure and not be able to pop out. And as long as this is up behind her knees and her knees are higher than her bottom, she'll be secure and she won't pop out the bottom either. Bounce around to the front. Hi! Hi, Andrea! So, that was our Sling tutorial. I think me and Andrea are going to go play now. Bye! Alright, so how to get your baby out. For a larger baby like this, I think it's easier to pull them out the bottom. The only way to loosen the fabric on a ring sling, if you have proper rings and sturdy enough fabric, is to lift up on the rings. Just pull straight up. And then I just pop the fabric out from underneath her bottom, slide my arm through, pull it over her head and my head, and we have a baby out of the sling. Once you have your sling all sized up for you and your baby, you don't need to take the fabric all the way out of the rings at all, ever, except to wash it and dry it. Should we go play now? We're going to go play again. Thanks for watching.